Hi, my name is Lisa Lloyd, and today we're going to talk about the secret success of failing fast. Listen, nobody likes to fail. It hurts. Some people will even be so afraid of failure that they'll never pursue any of their dreams at the mere prospect of that pain. But what if I could show you how failure is something to be embraced and something that ultimately drives your success? Well, today we're going to talk about how failure is an instrumental and integral part of being an inventor. We need to fail. We need to stress test. We need to understand where the breaking points are so that we can determine not only whether or not to pursue it, but be prepared to have those conversations later when we're trying to license it. So, I have a saying, fail fast and fail forward. I want to find out sooner than later whether or not I have a good idea before I spend a bunch of time, or even worse, money on that idea. There are a lot of really great videos you could find on YouTube, plenty of information all over the internet that will teach you how to do your what we call due diligence in the invention business. In other words, how to do a market competitive analysis and how to take a look at the market, how to use stores and Google to research the competitive landscape and what the opportunity may be for you, as well as how to do patent searches. So I'm not going to dig into that today, but what I really want to talk about is the one thing, critical secret ingredient in part to my success, that goes above and beyond that particular research. And it's something that I do before I spend any other money, any other time on my innovation. So the big problem with current methodologies of market and patent research is that we set out to validate the idea rather than invalidate it. You hear that? I know it sounds weird. I get it. It's weird. But here's the thing. We need to be critically thinking, which is very different from the invention part of our brain, which is the right side, creative, innovative, out-of-the-box thinking. Instead, we need to move over for the research side, to the left side of the brain, which means we have to park that creativity and that passion and all that love for just a moment for that idea and put on our critical hat and do the research with the understanding that we're looking for a reason not to do it. So, seriously, it's a real thing. It's called confirmation bias, and studies prove that people are inclined to only see the evidence that supports what you believe. And so, like I said, if you believe you have a good idea, you will tend to only see the evidence that supports that idea. And I think this hangs up a lot of people, or worse, doesn't hang them up, motivates them to continue to go down the path and spend a lot of time and money on something that unfortunately won't ever be successfully commercialized. So I want to help you know one extra secret ingredient today that you can add to your marketing mix, your validation process, on the front end, so that you can be confident to move forward and invest more time and resources in your idea. So we have to approach this very early stage of an idea with the mindset of a scientist. In other words, we have to treat it like it's a hypothesis that we're setting out to prove or disprove without any bias. So this begins with writing a great problem statement. Defining the problem is something that I talk about in another video. I go into great detail. I'll put a link to that video, in fact, below us here, so that you can dig into that if you'd like to. But essentially, defining the problem, writing a problem statement, is just being really definitive about what the problem is that you aim to solve, because without a definitive problem, you won't have a definitive solution for it. Make sense? Okay, so the second thing you need to do is create your hypothesis statement. This is just a broad stroke review of what might be included. You're not inventing yet. I don't want you to think through all the details, because it's not time to invent at the idea stage. You're really vetting the idea at this point. So you write your hypothesis, and now we want to go test that hypothesis. And the best way to do that is by interviewing customer personas that fit the demographic or psychographic of the type of product that you're talking about bringing to market, or thinking about bringing to market in this case. So for example, if it's a new golf club for women, then you want to interview women who golf. And you're going to ask them a series of questions. I won't get into all of the questions, but the most important data to get out of these interviews is, what are they currently using? What do they like about it? What don't they like about it? And why? Why are they continuing to use it, for example, if they don't like that? Is it because the price is so cheap? Is it because they can't find another one that does the one thing that is missing? And after, I guarantee you, this will blow your mind. If you don't believe me, test me and call me or write publicly, I was wrong. Because I guarantee you, you will uncover in these conversations things you didn't know to think about, questions you didn't know to ask yourself, which sets the stage now, if you decide to go forward, with how to innovate solutions that include the criteria that people are really looking for and not maybe just the one thing that you stumbled on. So once you go through this process, it gives you the opportunity to build your confidence. I like to say it's your way of making an intelligent business decision. I call it the 4 Ps: to pivot, pause, pass, or pursue. And if what comes out of this data is something that you realize you need to pivot on the idea, it might be, people just don't think it's a big enough problem, it's not painful enough, it's just my problem apparently, or they're willing to live with that problem because they wouldn't be willing to make a switch. Whatever that data is, that means that you want to pass, pivot, pursue, or maybe it's a pause button because maybe it's just a timing thing. But when you get to the 4 Ps after doing these interviews, you can make an intelligent business decision about what to do next, and it not only sets a stage with your confidence to move forward smartly with your money and your time, your resources, but it also gives you what you need to build your minimum viable product. So when you're ready, after going through inventing that solution, after getting your patent protection or provisional application or whatever it is that you think you want to do, and then going after whether it's to sell or to license, you have a case study, you have the data in the back of your mind, and of course in the research that you've done on why you're doing it the way you're doing it, and you can sell it with confidence. So if you want to be a professional inventor, don't be afraid to fail. Want to fail fast. Want to find out right away whether or not your idea is worth pursuing beyond just doing the obvious market research and patent research, but do the consumer research to find out whether or not it passes all the tests to move forward, so that you fail fast, but you save time and money, and now you can put that towards your next great idea. And if you're worried about whether or not you'll ever have a good idea, maybe you're on your first idea right now, I can tell you, you will be addicted. Just hang in there, because you'll have another idea. Those same creative juices that gave you the first idea, now you're smarter based on those learnings, and every time you fail, you get better for the next time. So always be excited about the opportunity, embrace the opportunity, accept that it is a part of the process, make failure your friend, and fail fast, fail forward, and find your success.